Greetings, Goddess, Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is October 3rd, 2018. I'm back. Oh my gosh. It's like feast or famine would be, isn't it? But I was just sitting, just doing my own spiritual work this morning, and something came to me. I think I was listening, it was while I was listening to Dr. Michael Beckwith, who I really, really like. If you're out there and you feel led to take a new path spiritually, I say go with Michael Beckwith, especially if you come from one of the main religions that people are a part of, such as Christianity. I say go with Dr. Michael Beckwith. I don't really know if I have a lot of people who hail from the Muslim, Islam as their childhood religion, but it's still, he would be good. Hey sis, how you doing? Yeah, for people who have troubles with, I know, who have troubles, let me not say troubles, maybe who feel some type of resistance, moving forward in, say, another religion, or moving forward in African traditional spirituality, because it's like a whole different paradigm from what a lot of us were used to being raised up. Say, for instance, like me, Christian. Although the fact that I was raised Catholic sort of like made me like used to being different. But still, if you need an opportunity to slowly but surely make the shift, Michael Beckwith is the way to go, because everything he talks about is so universal, and he brings so much from all the different world religions and thought, ways of thinking, philosophies, into his teachings. So I was listening to him this morning, and I started pondering on, I was listening to him, and I read something in astrology. And it was talking about Libra season, and how when we look at the astrological wheel in its purest form, the first sign astrologically is Aries. And always you're looking at two signs. This is something I've sort of like begun to really understand. If there's something going on in one sign, then the sign that's directly 180 degrees across from it is being highlighted and affected too. And so right across from Aries is Libra, which that's the season that we're in. And so Libra, especially with having two planets there right now, is actually highlighting that entire, they call it axis. And Aries is about I. It's about me. That's why sometimes Aries are sort of looked at as a little bit self-centered, arrogant. They're just thinking about themselves. And to a certain degree, like, they can't help it. And it's sometimes not people who have a sun in Aries. Maybe their ascendant is in Aries and they really Aries then. Or maybe they have some planets in Aries. It may not be their ascendant or their sun, but if they have like 3 planets there, they're going to seem like an Aries. And so they're looked at as very self-centered. Aries energy, though, is how we get things going, is how we get things started, is the energy of Mars, action, new beginnings. Aries may not have the energy to sustain it. But if you need to get something done, you need to tap into your inner Aries Ram and wear red. And it's just different ways to connect with this energy. And so that's I. That's me. That's what we're focused on. That's something that when we are in Aries season, it's sort of like a time to really be focused on self. Yes, Aries can be looked at as Shango. Absolutely. And so then there's Libra, which is directly across from Aries. And Libra is about we. It's about us. It's about relationships. Typically, when we're talking Libra, we're looking at one-to-one relationships. It's not going to be huge. Huge is more of like Aquarius. But Libra is more of like how I relate to you. And so something that came to my mind is during this season, because the other day I talked about we're going to be looking at relationships, especially with Venus in Scorpio. We're going to be looking at relationships like, should I keep this relationship? All that kind of good stuff. What do I need to ask? Maybe I need to improve. I'm the person that needs to improve in the relationship. But Libra is actually looking at, to me, this Venus energy, which I see as Oshun, sort of like in the way that she really is. So we sort of have like two different Oshuns that are presenting, two different Venuses that are presenting. And so when I think about I versus you, and then thinking about Libra being about balancing, I think a lot of us really need to look at where do we need to bring more balance in our relationship when it's me, I, versus the we. So a lot of times the way that's looking like is how much am I sacrificing myself for this relationship? Am I dying in this relationship? Or am I being too self-centered and I'm not focusing enough on my relationships? So this is another thing that I'm asking you all to ponder and really consider, looking at the balance between the I versus the we's in our lives and bringing balance there. This is another thing we can do especially when the sun is in Libra. And so that's something I wanted you all to think about. The other thing that came to my mind is also the self versus the self. And as you see in the title of the video, it's lowercase self versus the uppercase self. And so the lowercase self would be the ego. The uppercase self would be our expanded self. So the way I explain this is there is the great divine consciousness, and the great divine consciousness, this is what has been explained, and this is just what, as I've pondered, this is truth to me. The divine consciousness seeks to experience itself. And how can this is no thing. This is just pure potentiality and consciousness. And so the only way it can do this is to differentiate itself into, form in some way. It might be energetic form. So that's when I think about the Orisha. Or it may be physical form. But it is definitely a differentiation of itself. And for us in human form, the way that it can actually do this is to create form, and it's like this block is up. It's like, the way I see it is it's like a wall. And that way, this aspect of the consciousness, because it's not all of our consciousness that's in form. We get differentiated into, let's say, a soul. And then a portion of our soul is inserted into human form. The wall gets put up. It's the wall of forgetfulness is how I look at it. It gets put up, and that way it's blocked off from realizing, really, this is not who I am. And so it comes in and it's experiencing life in this physical form. It's experiencing body, mind, spirit, and emotions. And so this is how the ego is given birth to. And so we come here, we forget, and then we start living as these physical beings. That wall is there. At any given time, it can come down however we want to. And the actual goal is to remove the wall, is to come and have this physical form, but also the only way the great divine consciousness can really know what it's like to experience the other is for us to actually like awaken. Well, I guess maybe it's two levels: to come and experience what it's like to totally forget, to not remember who we are, and then to awaken and experience all of this from the perspective of the great divine, which is our higher self, the capital S. Okay? Because that part is really only subtly disconnected from the great divine consciousness. It's so in union in that oneness with the great divine consciousness. That's all it knows. But it still is differentiated enough to know it's in charge of this lifetime that we're living. And so it is what leads, guides, directs, feeds us, shows us what to do, makes our body operate, helps us to begin to see, wait a minute, I don't know which direction I'm supposed to go, or absolutely, I just feel it in my gut. This is the direction I'm supposed to go in. But what happens is we get so caught up in the little s self, the egoic self, that we are resistant to connecting with the greater self that really is who and what we are. And Libra, as I see it, also Libra season gives us the opportunity to get that relationship in balance. The question is, what are you doing to bring more balance to your relationship of your ego to the relationship of your higher self, which I call Ori? Some of it will come through education. You've got to even get to a point where you're like, what? This is not me. I'm not I'm not Tyra. That's what my mama called me. That's what my daddy called me. Everybody called me Tyra as a girl, and I don't know what I am if I'm not this. I can't see it. It's like, I have these experiences, I'm a black woman and I'm an American and, I'm black and, I'm African. I'm a dancer. I'm a writer. All these labels. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I have all these labels. I'm not any of that. Really? So we have to begin to find ways to help us challenge all of that. Because like I said, it could be dropped today, wall removed, we walking around just at oneness with the divine consciousness in the body, but not of the body. Not worried about all the news happenings and none of that. Not caring what someone did to us, because guess what? You ain't touched my soul. You may have touched my physical being, but guess what? I'm letting this thing go at some point. This is not who I am. I'm not taking all of that with me. I'm so free because I'm so at one with the great divine consciousness. We could do that in a flash. But it's not easy to let go of the self. It's a very comfortable place for us. And that's why we have to slowly but surely to bring balance to this thing. Figure out what is it that we need to do to move, first of all, past the resistances that we have to even letting all this go. This is something I find fascinating. And I really want you to think about this. Is this you? Some of us would rather stay with our stuck, limited, miserable selves because it's comfortable. We know we can stay in control rather than to say, you know what? Maybe I can let go of what I've come to understand myself to be in order to find my true self. we really would prefer to stay stuck in our stumble. And if that is you, I'm not judging you. I've been there, still there, still there. It's like we make progress and we only to find out, oh, wait, I have more progress to make. But thank goodness, the Ori, our higher self, it never gives up on us. It will do everything it can to the end to help us get there. But we have to begin, and this is why we do our spiritual practices, read spiritual works, really be intentional about our spirituality. Slowly but surely, whatever it is we need to do, we will do it in order to bring more balance to the self versus the higher self. Okay? So this is just another way of looking at Libra season. Yeah, relationships with other people, they are tantamount. I mean, relationships is just like I don't even have a word. They cannot be overstated. It's our relationships with people, with others, and to a certain degree, with other entities, our guides, our pets, animals, fur babies, whatever we want to call it. Astrology has really helped me to understand that the animals are a big deal to us humans, And so I will say harmony is important too. This is the season of Venus being highlighted through Libra. And so we want to be in harmony with our own self. The more harmony I have with me, the more harmony I will have with you. If I have hellish relationships with other people, more than likely it's because I have a hellish relationship with myself. People who are at peace with themselves, they don't have time to be going through a bunch of drama with other folks. So we want to bring harmony and balance and self-love and respect to the relationship with our own self first. And then we can begin to have more balance and harmony, when it comes to relationships with other people. And we know that the relationships that we are in typically will be giving us some feedback on our own self. Before I look at the comments, I'm gonna say one of the greatest lessons of being married, and people say it's so cliche. I think even my husband said this. But one of the greatest lessons I've learned about relationships and how my relationships with others really help me understand me better is typically what I see in my husband. And this was especially when we were newer. Even now though, what I see in my husband, if I'm like, he's on my nerves with this, and why is he acting like that, and why is he doing this? It's that 3 fingers pointing at me for every one pointing at him. I used to say to myself, because my husband is not the one to be getting into debates and arguments with. This dude is an attorney. He was born to do this thing. And he's a Scorpio. He's got a lot of planets in Scorpio. My little jovial, light self, I cannot hang with him. So I began to realize, hey, before I say something, I might want to think about this thing. I really might want to see, is it really that I have a problem with him? Or really what I'm seeing in him is something I need to fix in myself? And really what I began to see is for every complaint, and he would even say that for every complaint you have about me, I have one about you. I just don't say it. I'm like, dang. Maybe I need to work on myself. Relationships really and truly give us insight about ourselves. Stop making it about the other person all the time. It's about you. Because what I'm finding is that the more I work on myself and I'm feeling good and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, it just, there's not a whole lot for me to be like complaining about, or the things that I feel like, oh, I just, this irks me. It's like, man, whatever, just, it's like whatever, because life is good. And whatever I'm irritated about with my husband is not a big deal. If he were to drop dead today, I wouldn't even be thinking about all that. It's like so much perspective can be gained from from our relationships with others. But what do? We want to point our finger at them and talk about why our lives are so horrible because of them. No, our lives are horrible because of us. If we're staying in a relationship that's not good, that's my fault. At some point, and I know everybody gets caught up. I have seen it with my own two eyes. Sometimes it is hard to leave because our minds get messed up. If you're with somebody who's really controlling and all that kind of good stuff. But if we really fight for the self, if we really do what we need to do for the self, I give thanks that I haven't been caught up in this, but I've seen a lot of people just say, oh, I said I was getting about that abuse. But most of us, we're not dealing with abuse. We're just dealing with the fact that either we're staying someplace that we're choosing to be and being miserable is not that person's fault, or we just need to get our stuff together and stop creating hell for everyone else. I'm not trying to beat people up today. This is just what's coming through. I didn't even know I was going to say any of this. Had no idea, did not script this at all. Just had a general idea of what I want to talk about. This is what we need to be focused on during Libra season. Balance, harmony, relationship, like looking at having balance in my relationships, looking at myself versus the other people that I'm in relationship with, and making sure that's in balance. We should not be losing ourselves. We should not be sacrificing ourselves. Let me tell you something. Aries is not going to sacrifice itself. Aries is like, oh no, I will get you before you get me. I respect Aries for that. They show us how to be like that. If you have that propensity to be more of like, I'm going to martyr myself for everyone and hopefully somebody will love me. Aries ain't martyring itself for anybody, okay? And we should not do that either. Now, I might martyr myself a little bit at times. There is a time for martyrdom, but the payoff should be great. I shouldn't be martyring myself because I'm hoping to get something. No, I see if I sacrifice myself, then whatever happens for the greater good of everybody, that thing is going to be worth it, Because then you can regenerate and get yourself together. But if you're just martyring yourself just for the sake of it, we're not doing that. And Aries gives us that opportunity to do that, whereas Libra gives us an opportunity to see, do I really have healthy relationships? And, am I giving my best self to my relationships? And is this relationship really the relationship for me? And I'm not just talking romantic relationships. I'm just talking relationships. Typically, these are going to be the ones that are a little more important. Or we can just sort of look at our pattern of how we engage relationships, how we start relationships. That was something I really had to do. I had to start telling myself, I can't be putting people on a pedestal. As they talk about in politics, I got to vet my friends. We get ready to vet. You have to be my friend. I need to watch you. We need to go through 4 seasons before you really and truly in my heart, sort of my friend. I'm just being 100. But most of my friends know this is how I feel. Typically, I feel like I need to go through like 2, 3, 4, 5 years because people come and go. 5 years is not that long of a time. Probably the friend that I have been friends with the longest and never lost a connection with at all. We've been friends 24 years. 5 years compared to 24 with Toya? That's not a long time. And people come and freaking go. I just need to see all of this. And I encourage you to do the same. Don't be rushing. We don't need to rush. We need to look at ourselves. So if I keep having certain issues in friendships, is it because I'm going into this thing wrong? I'm too gullible? Or I don't have no friends because I won't trust anybody. I won't let anybody in. You know, I'm saying what I'm saying, like I'm giving folks a chance. I'm not trying to block folks. So let me see here. Is this Amethyst Renee? Yeah, girl. Let's talk. Okay. Yes. You're like, see you, dude. Very good. I like that. Have closure. And it's no need to be secretive about it. Well, you know, if it's just like a decent relationship. Sometimes we do have to be a little secretive because folks will try to hold on to us. But yes. Right. We have the tree of life, but we can't forget about the other side of the tree, the dark side, the shadow self. That is absolute truth. And I think that that's the part that most people don't really want to face, but you can try not to face it. It'll come up for you to face it. Yep. No, martyring yourself, martyring. No. Yep. And it's so good when you see, yeah, I love it. Someone else chimed in. Cutie Pie's here. Hi, Cutie Pie. But yeah, no. I love this. Amethyst Renee. So yeah, when time is up, that's the thing that I have learned too is important for me. Every time I stay too long in a relationship, which for me is more friendships. Right now, you know, me and my husband, I'm like, I'm good. But when I stay too long in a friendship, and sometimes it's not even that deep. Like this summer, I was working at a local gym, and I just didn't pay attention. Okay, let me say it this way. I paid attention, but I didn't take heed. You know how sometimes in relationships, we see the red flags, but we are like, maybe it won't be so. Maybe it won't be anything to this, right? So a red flag for me, yeah, you get it. A red flag for me is when I'm looking for a job, especially a fitness job. If you don't ask me to do a what do you call it, an audition, that's a red flag. I mean, like this has been set because of this job I had this summer. The lady did not hire me to do a audition. And then I started hearing about the problems that's at this gym from my friend. I'm like, why you let me get hired here and now you just not telling me stuff? Well, I know you don't like the gossip. This ain't gossip. This is information for me to know as I enter into this business relationship with this gym. And then the first check I got, she was like, "Can you deposit it tomorrow?" I'm like, "But today is payday. What are you talking about?" So then more gets revealed. I'm all caught up with my son. This is another way we kind of get caught up in staying in relationships that when we should leave, life is tossing us to and fro. And so our mind isn't all there. It's not so bad. It's something not right, but it's not so bad that it's more of a crisis than this life stuff that's happening over here. So my son was, you know, in the Coast Guard Academy, the boot camp phase. I'm all stressed out about that. I'm missing him. You know, I had this big life transition going on, which is highly transformational. Maybe not crisis level, but like a crisis. And so I was just sort of ignoring stuff. My class was doing pretty well. So there goes my ego. Folks are coming. They telling me they love it. And I have in the past been sort of flaky. Yes, I admit we Pisces can be flaky. And so I have channeled my inner Saturn or Saturn and said, I'm not going to be flaky. I told this lady I would teach June, July, and August, and that's what I'm going to do. Well, the problem is if you stop paying me, now we have a breach of contract, which is Libra season also. Libra is about contracts. And is this contract being played out the way it should be, or is there a breach of contract? And so when we're looking at our relationship, like agreements with other people, we need to be looking at the contract. Okay, well, we said we were going to be faithful. Or I said I was going to show up and teach. You said you were going to pay me, breach of contract. So the first breach happened at the top of August. I'm worn out at this point, but there's a faithful few that are coming, one of which was my goddaughter, the other of which was two fitness instructors who I adore. So it wasn't really feeling like work, and it was helping me to develop this fitness format that I've created. But the first breach was they did not pay me my first check that I was supposed to get paid in August. I should have quit then. What'd I do? They changed pay dates. Folks didn't get paid for 6 weeks. After the lady said, "Oh, well, you're done at the end of August. I'll give you your check sooner." I didn't even ask for the check because I knew they were not going to give me the check. I just waited for everybody else when they said they were going to get paid. And they started talking about we're not going to get paid. I had to have my husband go get my check. I had to go straight up old school. Craig, go get my check. Yes, his name is Craig. Craig, go get my check. I should have exited that teaching situation the first time they didn't give me my check. But what did I do? I stayed. Regrets. Because I ended up really wounding my body teaching when I was just like, I really am exhausted. And I feel a little burned out. Like it's hard for me to work out on my own because when I teach, that's not working out for me. But do I blame them? Yes. I'm going to stop. I really want to trash their name and everything. And I did. I put them on blast. I said, oh, I never thought I would have wage theft, but here I am, wage theft at the age of 48. $21 little dollars per class. Y'all gonna wage theft me over $21 per class? Really? It's like, wow. But we most of us, I think, got paid anyway. But it's my fault. I did not pay attention to the breach of contract. I did, but I didn't take action. So we got to do that kind of stuff when it comes to our relationships. Yeah, hey, Ollie. I hope you're doing good. I know you've had a rough season. Exactly, Amethyst Renee. Nobody got time for that. They were doing too much. And they still doing too much. One of the instructors who's still there going to ask us if we can come sub for her. Some of us that have quit. We like. She's like, I know. I just need to tell him I asked you because I'm not showing up to teach my class. So, yeah. Relationships, self versus others, and self versus self. So that's what I have for you all today, and it's good being on here. We'll see what else happens. Oh, good, Ollie. I'm so glad that you're better. I'm so glad. Trouble don't last always, thank goodness. Love you all. Thank you all so much. Remember to like the video, share the video, and I don't know. I'm starting to get thoughts in my mind about, like, I like doing the spiritual pondering. That way I don't have to do a reading or anything. Y'all know I'm coming. Y'all will know what spiritual ponderings is, or goddess ponderings is about. Wisdom for your week. Y'all know what that's about. And I forgot that I had started Oracle Speaks University. So I need to do that too. So yeah, that way it gives me structure. That I do well with structure. Y'all remember Saturn in Capricorn. Where do you need to have more discipline, structure, and focus in your life? And it's where you need to do it where it's like not necessarily fun, but ooh, if you do it, you're gonna win. So thank you all so much. I love you all, and blessings of the goddess be upon you. Peace.